Hi, I'm Dave Sobel, and I'm host of the Business of Tech podcast. I'm a former MSP and a former channel chief at multiple software vendors, and now I spend my time thinking about what IT services providers need to know, what's happening from a trends perspective, and delivering them insights and why they care. Today, let's talk some cybersecurity, because we're losing the cyber war. Look, I'll say it, the criminals are winning. They're taking massive amounts of money, they've systemized the attacks, and they've built successful businesses. They're illegal businesses, sure, but think of their organizations. They have financial statements, marketing efforts, affiliate programs. Some even go so far as to have ethical boundaries and screening processes. It's a real business. Every vendor is going to tell you about the opportunity here, how security is such a customer pain point, how solving this is the big thing. And at some level, they're right, sure, but more of the same is just not going to cut it. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. What we're doing now isn't working. It's just not. I'm not going to spend my time today talking about the landscape. That's what my podcast is for. Instead, I'm going to offer 4 ways to start changing the game. If we want to break the cycle, we're going to need to do something different. So first, stop using soft language about this. Here's a story from the news about ransomware. New Jersey's largest hospital system said Friday that a ransomware attack last week disrupted its computer network and that it paid a ransom to stop it. Listen to the way the story is reported. There's no personification. The attack is not linked to people at all. The attack itself is the noun, not those behind it. The victim here, despite working with the FBI, authorities, cybersecurity, and forensic experts, the victim is viewed as the one resolving it. It's really not very visceral in the way physical crime stories are. Let me rewrite that headline. New Jersey's largest hospital system was held hostage by intruders within their facility, and cybersecurity experts and authorities intervened unsuccessfully. The hospital was forced to pay the ransom, removing resources from patient care. There's a huge difference. The words we use really matter. The reporting and discussion of breaches is all wrong. Ransomware doesn't do an attack. People do attacks. These breaches are done by humans, specifically criminals, organized crime, vandals, and nation states. The word security itself is even part of the problem. You know what the definition of security is? Freedom from danger. Freedom from care, from doubt. Security is a mirage. You'll never arrive at a place of security. You'll never achieve security. You will not get to freedom from danger, freedom from care, anxiety, or doubt. Talk in the language of the harsh reality and of risk management. Second, stop talking about functions and products full stop. If you lead with the idea that the problem is just technology, and so more technology solves it, you imply that you just need all that and your problems go away. But it's not true. I'll reference some Tech Isle research. Their recommendation: a combination of technology with management and IT actions delivered by skilled suppliers. Management gives the rules of the road and ensures the needs are addressed. The IT team creates controls, and then the suppliers bring solutions. Without the people portion of it, it doesn't matter how many technologies you throw at this. You can have all the technology in the world, but unless you get the rules, needs, and controls in place, it's all irrelevant. Some data from Sophos. 66% of attacks in the cloud are due to exploited misconfigurations. Not that the tools couldn't protect, but things were configured wrong. Think about that. The major cause was misconfiguration. The protections are there, just not set correctly. The features and functions are all there. What's missing are the controls and enforcement, and we're not getting any traction. So third, understand the way people apply these words. Data from Verizon says that 85% of breaches involve a human element. This isn't a product problem, it's a people one. want to highlight a specific Microsoft story. Their CISO, Brett Arsenault, recently in an interview talked about their change in approach to passwords. His key moment of success, he was cheered just once at the company when he killed off the policy of changing passwords every 71 days. It's the only time he's ever been publicly cheered. He said, "I remember we had a motto to get MFA everywhere. And in hindsight, that was the right security goal, but the wrong approach. Make this about the user outcome. So transition to wording of, we want to eliminate passwords. But the words you use matter. It turned out that simple language shift changed the culture and the view of what we are trying to accomplish," he said. "Today, 99.9% of our users don't enter passwords in their environment," he added. But only 18% of Microsoft's customers have enabled MFA. If you aren't focused on the people, you're not focused on the right stuff. You apply that first statement about language to the way you implement your policies. Finally, let's recognize the incentive structure. It's rather broken right now if you're an IT services company. For big companies, they've quickly discovered that security is just an expense. And I don't mean that for products. I mean just paying to make it go away. For a long time, the incentive was thought that there would be reputational damage for a breach. But that's not proving to be true. Let's look at some big stories and their long-term impact. Target is a breach we talk about all the time. But if you look at their stock as a measurement of the value of the organization, well, there you go. Equifax is another one, huge breach, constantly being talked about. They're not even a beloved company. Look at their stock price. How about Marriott? Remember that breach? Tell me on the stock ticker where that happened. You can't even tell they were not penalized at all. The reputational damage, it's just not there. It's what vendors tell you to say to try and sell their security products. Those ransomware payments may even be tax deductible in the US. Seriously. Security is risk management. The risk comes from managing the systems and the ongoing enforcement of policies. The customer is asking the IT services company to take on that risk. Insurance companies are pushing back to make sure they don't take too much. In a paper from the defense think tank Royal United Services Institute, paying ransoms not only encourages more cyber criminals and more attacks, it funds them to continue operations, and it's an existential threat for those insurers. The paper suggests that insurance should require minimum ransomware controls as part of any rare ransomware coverage going forward. And the software vendors generally, they don't have any skin in this game. They aren't paying out any ransoms related to their products. Software vendors are not taking the risk here. And more importantly, they know where the risk is. It's with the services. So you should find vendor partners that'll share the risk. If a vendor's selling you a security product, it needs to come with some risk assumption of its own. If they're so confident it will work, they have the resources to share your risk. Make them. You don't get what you don't ask for. You should be also asking the company how their incentives are tied to yours. Ask that question of the executive team. If their compensation isn't tied to their own software being secure, in a world of zero trust security architectures, you should consider them compromised and know they aren't there to help you. Now, I'm not claiming these four are everything you need to do. Frankly, if you leave this session just starting to re-examine your approach in general, I'll consider it a win. But I think these four changes are key. Change your language. Stop talking about security and features and functions, full stop. Understand the way people respond to language and direction, and ensure the incentives for risk management are aligned with customers, insurers, and suppliers. It's time to start thinking very differently. Because we keep doing what we're doing over and over again, that is the definition of insanity. And I'm not in the business of being insane. And I don't think you are either. I'm really looking forward to more discussions in the roundtable. I will talk to you then.